The Route 91 Harvest Festival was one of the biggest country music events in the world. Every year, it transformed a stretch of Las Vegas Boulevard into a massive outdoor concert, just across from the Mandalay Bay Resort. The skyline glowed behind the stage. The strip buzzed with tourists, traffic, and nightlife. On Sunday night, October 1st, more than 22,000 people packed into the venue. Some had driven for hours from neighboring states. Some were locals who came every year. Some were celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, or just the end of a long work week. Among them were off-duty nurses, police officers, college students, parents, and grandparents. Entire families stood shoulder to shoulder, singing along to the final headliner of the night. It felt safe. It felt familiar. It felt like a place where nothing bad could happen. Across the street, in the Mandalay Bay Hotel, most guests were settling in for the night. But one man was doing something very different. Stephen Craig Paddock checked into the Mandalay Bay on September 28th. He was 64 years old, a retired accountant, a frequent gambler who received free rooms and perks from casinos. To staff and guests, he seemed quiet, polite, unremarkable. Over the next few days, he brought more than 10 suitcases into his room on the 32nd floor. Inside those bags were over 40 firearms, thousands of rounds of ammunition, cameras, and tools. He positioned surveillance cameras in the hallway outside his suite and inside the service door, watching for anyone who might approach. He carefully chose a room that overlooked the festival grounds. At some point that night, he smashed 2 large windows, creating a clear line of sight to the crowd below. From 32 floors up, he had a perfect view of thousands of people who had no idea he was there. At 10:05 p.m., the music was still playing. Then the first burst of gunfire rang out. Some people laughed. Some looked around, confused. A few even raised their phones, thinking it was part of the show. But within seconds, people began to fall. Screams replaced singing. The crowd surged in every direction, toward exits, toward cover, toward anything that might stop the bullets. People hid behind food trucks. They dove under concert barriers. They squeezed into bathrooms, tents, and vendor stalls. Jason Aldean and his band ran off stage as security rushed in. Above them, the gunfire continued, steady, relentless, echoing off the buildings of the strip. The shooting didn't happen all at once. It came in waves. 10:05 p.m., the first burst. 10:08 p.m., a pause. Then more shots. 10:11 p.m., another wave of gunfire. Police dispatchers were flooded with calls. Reports came in from across the strip. People thought there were multiple shooters. Some believed it was coming from the ground. Others said it was from the sky. Off-duty officers in the crowd ran toward the sound. Nurses and doctors dropped to their knees, using belts and shirts as tourniquets. Strangers carried strangers to safety. One survivor later said, "I didn't know their names. I didn't know if they'd live. I just knew I couldn't leave them." At 10:15 p.m., SWAT officers reached the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. They moved down the hallway, past a security guard who had been shot and wounded through the door. At 10:16 p.m., they breached the suite. Inside, they found Stephen Paddock dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The shooting was over. 11 minutes. In that time, 58 people were killed at the scene. 2 more later died from complications, bringing the total to 60. More than 850 were injured, over 400 by gunfire. It was the deadliest mass shooting in modern American history. Hospitals across Las Vegas went into emergency mode. Doctors performed surgeries in hallways. Blood supplies ran low. Nurses worked without stopping for hours. Outside, families waited in parking lots and lobbies, refreshing their phones, calling loved ones again and again. Some got answers. Some didn't. One father searched 3 hospitals before finding his daughter alive. Another mother learned her son never made it out. The strip, usually loud and glowing, went quiet. Helicopters filled the sky. Police lights washed the streets in red and blue. Las Vegas, the city built on celebration, was suddenly a city in mourning. In the days that followed, the world wanted to know one thing. What? Investigators searched Paddock's home in Mesquite, Nevada. His car. His hotel room. His computers. They found no manifesto. No suicide note. No clear political or religious motive. The FBI later revealed that Paddock had been angry about how casinos treated him as a high-roller gambler, but they stopped short of calling it a motive. They discovered he had researched other large events and even looked into hotel layouts in different cities. In his car, police found materials that could have been used to make explosives. But the central question remained unanswered. Why this night? Why this crowd? Why this moment? To this day, no single explanation has ever fully satisfied investigators or the public. For those who lived, the story didn't end when the gunfire stopped. Many survivors speak about the sounds, how fireworks, car backfires, or even dropped dishes can send them back to that night. Some can't go to concerts anymore. Others return every year, standing in the same spot, remembering the people who didn't make it out. One survivor said, "I came for music. I left with a responsibility to never forget the ones who couldn't leave." GoFundMe pages turned into lifelong medical funds. Friendships formed between strangers who saved each other's lives. A community grew out of tragedy. In Las Vegas, a permanent memorial now stands near the site of the festival. The names of the victims are etched into steel and stone. Wind chimes ring softly in the desert air. Visitors leave flowers, cowboy hats, guitar picks, and handwritten notes. Each name represents a story that didn't get to finish. A teacher, a nurse, a veteran, a newlywed, a best friend. Route 91 Harvest was supposed to be a night of music. Instead, it became a night of silence. A moment that changed how America thinks about concerts, festivals, and public safety. It left behind laws, debates, and new security measures, but also something harder to measure. A collective memory of fear, courage, and loss. We remember the lives taken. We honor the ones who ran toward danger to save others. And we carry the question that still has no answer. How do we make sure this never happens again? If this story moved you, subscribe to Mystic Crime Stories, because remembering is one way we protect the future.